So I put up a poll, and most of the people who answered the poll said that they were still confused about makeup. All of it. As you watch me do my makeup today, I'm gonna explain it so that hopefully you can understand. One of the first things I do is go in with primer. My primer is gonna set the base for my makeup for that entire day. So it depends on if I wanna look dewy, matte. That's how I choose my primer. And I put it in the places where if I naturally sweat, I don't want the sweat to protrude through my makeup. Here, I'm applying the Laura Mercier translucent powder in medium deep. It's been my experience if I put on a translucent powder before I put on my foundation, then it helps alleviate some of the oil or sweat from protruding throughout the day. You can skip it. You don't have to, especially if your skin is dry. Then don't do this. Make sure you use a very light coat and make sure you use the same shade as your skin tone, okay? So when you're applying your foundation, use as least as possible. If you don't have a lot of blemishes, a lot of scarring, or anything that you really need to cover up, you don't need a lot of foundation, honestly. So I apply it in dot sizes because I don't want it to be very cakey from the powder that I just put on, and then I'll go ahead and blend it out. I have found over the years, if I use less, that's actually more because you can build it up. You don't have to apply it all at one time, okay? So don't be too aggressive when it comes to your foundation because remember, you're going to put multiple products on top of this foundation. Keeping it light as possible is best. As you see me blending, you may notice that I try my best not to go up under my eyes right here. That layer under your eyes is so thin. You want to make sure that you put the least amount of product in that area. Think ahead. We're already going to put on concealer, and then on top of that concealer, you're going to put on a layer of powder, and then on top of that, you're going to put on some setting spray. You just put on your skincare. There is a lot going on in that area, so I try my best not to put my foundation in that area as well. Now, color correcting is also going to be optional because if you don't have hyperpigmentation or dark spots, or you don't need to do a color correcting. If you do, make sure you use the lightest touch with what you use. I'm using something very inexpensive here, which is LA Girl Pro Conceal, but just make sure when you blend it out, you blend it out enough that it won't bleed through to your concealer. Use a pen size, like a pen tip size of color corrector and blend that out. And then if you feel like you need more because you can still see your dark spots, then just add more. Less is more, okay? NYX Brow Gel. This does nothing but merely hold your brows down all day. Keep them how you form them when you're doing your makeup. So even if you don't wear makeup, you can use the NYX Brow Gel if you want to keep your eyebrows tamed and formed a certain way throughout the day. You can still use this. I did put a little bit of foundation on top of my brows, which is why you see me using a Q-tip to go ahead and take that off. So keep some Q-tips next to you. But once we get this off, then we'll go ahead and shape our brows how we want. And another reason why I put this on immediately when I start out is because this has to have some drying time. You do as you feel comfortable. Remember, make up. We can make this up as we go. So before we get into the next step, which is going to be concealer, let me tell you something about choosing the right concealers. It is very important. And I had to learn this over time and make these mistakes so that you won't right now. You're going to have a matte concealer, soft matte concealer, and then you're going to have a hydrating concealer. Make sure when you're choosing the concealer for your under eye, it is hydrating. Remember what I told you in the beginning, this area is very sensitive and it's very thin. So as we age, we lose collagen. As you can see for me, my eyes begin to sink a little bit more in this area. So I want anything that is going to caffeinate it or plump it up, give me more volume in this eye area. Just make sure that you choose a hydrating concealer when it comes to your under eye. Now we will move on. Haus Labs is amazing when it comes to doing all the things that I mentioned. Typically, the areas in which we put the concealer is based on your face shape. I am an oval face shape girly, so if you are like me, you need to apply it like I do. For every face shape, there's a different application. Before we get into this next section, I choose to bronze versus contour. The reason for bronzing, you have a flat canvas from the foundation. Now you have some highlights under your eyes from your concealer, girl. We popping. So we have to bring some depth. We have to make sure people notice our structure. What do? We put on bronzer to bring back that structure. That's why we always do it here under your cheeks to give your cheeks a little definition. And sometimes you put it here when you're 45 and you gain weight and you just want to snatch that chin and not show people that you have a little second chin. And then it just looks gorgeous, of course. We'll get into shades, undertones, and all those things in a different video. Before we get into brows, I just want to explain something. There are multiple options that you can choose when it comes to sculpting your brows. However, if you're trying to decide what product works best for you, start with a brow pencil. The purpose of the brow pencil is to sculpt your brows. Basically, if you have any sparse hairs or open spots in your brows, your brow pencil will help you make up for that. When you're doing your brows, make sure you stay within the natural width of your brows. Take your brow pencil. You don't want to come past these two areas when it comes to your brows. So this is the furthest you want to go. This is what will look natural to your face. If you take it to the tip of your nose right here and you do it this way, that is the furthest that you want to take your wing. You are within those parameters, then your brows should look natural to your face shape. The next step in the process after you get done filling in your brows is to go ahead and clean up your brows. Use a matte concealer when you do this. And after you get done cleaning up your brows with the matte concealer, you want to go ahead and set it down with a translucent powder. Your eyes are now prepped for any type of eyeshadow that you're getting ready to use. Everything that we just put on has been the liquid version of the powder steps that we're getting ready to do next, which is probably why a lot of women think that it takes so long to do your makeup, because you got to put on this one, then you got to put on that one. There are two steps in that process that you could go straight to the powder product and not use the liquid product. One, your blush, and then two, your bronzer. The thing about it though, it could possibly be less pigmented because you're not layering it. That's the only difference. Hope that makes sense. Y'all talk back to me and let me know if this is all coming together and if it's making sense, okay? Now let me explain the purpose for allowing our concealer to sit this entire time that we've been doing our makeup. It's because we want the color payoff, bottom line up front. If your preference is natural, use a concealer that's the only one shade lighter than your actual foundation. Blend it out immediately. Don't allow it to sit too long, just blend it out. Notice how little of concealer that I used and how much payoff I will get. When I first started, we were making these gigantic triangles on our face and putting concealer just all over, and it was just a lot. Unless you have a real reason to do that for your makeup, then I'm going to suggest step away from that and begin to just use little dots, because less is more. Next up is your liquid blush, and this is basically the final cream product that you're going to put on. I like to say less is more, especially when you're using liquid products, because you're going to come back and put powder products right on top of it. So you don't need for the color to pay off right here, right now. You just need for the application to go on in the location that you want it to be seen in. And you want it to be seen very subtly. In the event that you do not choose to put powder blush on top of it, you can still see it subtly. So you can give like a soft kiss of color to your face. Next up is actually the fun part, in my opinion, is because you get to put on your powder products. You already know placement because you've already put it there with your cream products. So now you're just taking your powder products and you're layering that. You're making the colors pay off. So what you see is what you get. I go on my Sephora Micro Smooth in the places that I put my foundation. What you see me doing here is every place that I put my cream bronzer or my liquid blush, I'm applying the same shade onto my face in those same areas. Now, once I get done with that, I do like to go in with the residual of my Sephora Micro Smooth brush and just blend it all in over my face. Because Sephora Micro Smooth's powder is so light and translucent, but still have like a shade, a tone, a hint, a hue to it, I like to use it just to make sure that my makeup is all cohesive. It all kind of like settles together. Make sense? Okay. But what I want you to see here, I put powder in the inner corners of my eyes. And the reason for me doing this is to create a highlighted effect. Once I dust it off, that portion of me baking there in the center of my eyes is going to make it appear as if it's lighter in that particular area than the rest of my face, without me having to put on any more concealer or any more color corrector or anything like that. It's not a must do. This is just a nicety that I like to do. Let's move on. This is a new product for me, the LYS Stick Highlighter. I just want to try something different. This was game changing for me. The color payoff was amazing. The reason that you do highlight is to give that glow where the sun would naturally hit your face. So like say for instance, you was on a beach, like or you like highlight it from the sun in this area. That's where you essentially will put your highlighter, because you want the sun to like shining down and kissing on her. Like she's beautiful in that spot. She's beautiful all over her face, but right there, Yeah, right there. So before we get into the final step, which is setting our makeup down, we have several different options when it comes to setting sprays, but the purpose of the setting spray is just to make sure that our makeup does not move. So you can use a setting spray, you can use a finishing spray. There are not many finishing sprays on the market these days, but there are plenty of setting sprays and some that kind of act like finishing sprays with a hybrid approach. Pick what you prefer. If you want to be dewy, pick dewy. If you want to be matte, pick matte. If you want your face not to move, pick one size or pick the L'Oreal Infallible because, honey, hands down, they will hold you together all day. And the L'Oreal is not that. Certain products are not for everybody. Take what fits your makeup routine and make it work for you. If you're like me and you're still trying to figure some things out about your makeup, continue to follow my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll chat at you guys later.